What's up, good people? This is Isaiah. And as we look at the tape, I'm going to be taking you guys through the Dragon's Depth. Howdy. You know what I'm saying? And the team comp I'm actually going to be using in this case consists of Rise, Suzette, Melphi. Right, we're calling her Melphi because, you know, why not? She's a nicknamer for crying out. So we're calling her Melphi. And Aldo, all right? Otaha is here because she carries my Encounter Plus badges. And for those of you that are wondering why I do this, is the only purpose she actually serves most of the time is this version of her here. And that's just to deal with, say, the MP regeneration at the end of each battle, all right? And of course, she has the Encounter Minus badges. And to prevent myself from constantly having to change things out, I just have one style, the main style that I typically use here with the Encounter Minus badges, which of course restores HP and MP by 15%. And then of course, this other version of her here doesn't have any of those benefits, but she carries the Encounter Plus badges along with 2 Encounter Plus Grasta, right? So basically the ores, all right? So for those of you that are wondering, like, what is the point of having her? Because I know some of you all watching this video may see Otaha in this party and think, what's she doing? You know what I mean? So that's why she's there. For everyone else, though, they're really not going to be doing much. We have the story-based character here, Rise, right, with Black Tier here. Nothing really. She's not going to be doing much in these battles anyway. The badge, she has that 50% HP plus 500 continual regen, which is good for someone like her in particular. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and give her this as well. I'm not sure why Serene has that, right? I don't know what this badge does, by the way. It says damage plus per light ally. Now, if I were to go and look here, it just says damage plus per light ally. I don't know how much of an increase in damage is actually given per light ally, because there's pretty much all of them except for Melissa here, you know what I mean? But like I said, she's not going to be doing anything in the fights anyway. Suzette, she's just here for applying poison and pain on all enemies. That's the only reason why she's in here. All right, any character who does this similar thing could have been used. All right. I don't know what this Ancient Despair actually does. I'll have to find out when we get into a fight. Melpiphia, she's here because of one of her stellar skills. Which one is it? Is it this one? No, this one here. Right, at battle start, all party members MP consumption minus 100%. So similar to like a Alter Tuva or a Valette, right? Pretty much she has that same ability. All right. So this is the only reason why she's there, by the way. Plus, if I were to use her, some of her skills definitely come in handy. I was testing the Frog's Extreme with just Aldo and Melpiphia, and Aldo survived, which is interesting. You know what I mean? And then, of course, Aldo, who's going to be the main damage dealer. Okay, so we have here the Drag and Drop GS sword. I don't have the updated version of this sword yet. But it works really for this. Okay, and then of course his badge that you get from the Astral Archives, the Dragon God badge here, which I believe you also get from the Astral Archives. I'd have to check. All right, and then a Falcon badge to make him active first. As far as Grasta goes for him, it's the typical stand-up, right, or setup, right? Power of Agony, Bullseye, Power of Pain, another Power of Pain, really. I mean, the only one who can actually carry Grasta for Aldo would be Melpiphia in this case. Self-improvement, she has this enhance if max HP, and then Power of Inferno as well. Let me actually check and see. Yeah, she's not a, there's no fire elements there. So there's that, all right? Melissa, she's really only here to gain experience. I've already finished her manifest fight. All right, I used my Alma team here, so let me go ahead and go over there. So I use this team here, and it worked just fine. Especially when almost the one getting hit, right? Just a counter. So it takes a bit longer, obviously, but it's mostly just counters that do all the work. All right. So back to the team here. And as we look at the tape, we're grinding through Dragon's Depths. All right. There are no skips, unfortunately. As you can see, I have 76 of them, and I have to use them along with the keys. So for that, I'll just run Underworld, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. But we're going to start with running the dungeon. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, like I mentioned before, she has these encounter plus badges. So that pretty much means we're going to get into a lot of fights here. All right.
Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah.
We got this.
Let's take on this enemy over here.
Say the line, dude!
Okay, give me a break.
You're mine.
There we go.
Victory dialogue.
I gotta say, Melfi's some of the stuff she was doing inside of the episodes was just hilarious to me. Like the whole rock and roll thing. I was like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? Or tackling
Symphony of Souls
what's her name?
has ended.
I don't know her name. It's gonna be one of the newest free characters in regard to this episode story arc or whatever. Sazanka, I believe that's her name. I don't know for sure because I'm not looking it up. But yeah, the whole just running into her, throwing her in the water, which is absolutely hilarious to me. You know what I mean? So, but as you can see, this is actually pretty simple. This is the same team comp, by the way, that I use for taking on Master difficulty for the those four corners, if you will. I forget the name of the enemy,
dude.
actually. I'll have to check when I get there. There's a treasure chest down here, actually. And the other one's at the corner. Bottom right. But same team. The only difference was, instead of doing like no AFs, you can just enter into the fight and do an AF. You know what I mean? So I'll probably showcase that against the four up there. Show you all what I mean.
They're gonna write stories about that one.
Let's get up there to the horn, and then fix it, come back down. I don't know what's with the voices. Like, I'm pretty sure that's Melfi. With her, gotta be unpredictable. All right, so
give me a break.
Say this is one of those masters in the four corners, right? I would just AF them, so skills here, like that there. Though this isn't really optimized for AF at all, which is interesting that it actually works. So, and so as you can see, we're just banging out AF. And then once here, we can just go ahead and use the Stellar Burst skill, and that will just finish off the enemy. You know what I mean?
Choose violence.
Right? So that would pretty much take care of the enemy here. And pretty much I would just finish off the enemy every single time. You know what I mean? When going up against those four enemies in the corners. You know, so worked just fine.
Let's go.
Sir, yes, sir.
And because all those in the party with three other light-based users, I think 3 would actually work. I'd have to check. But you can literally just enter fights and just AF everything. You know what I mean? So it's easy to go from one to another, and not have to change anything. You know? And mind you, at the time, this actually may still be the case. Melfi here only had like the Daybreak equipment. You know what I mean? So You know, it's pretty easy taking out all of the 4 enemies. You know what I mean? Let me get this over here. So I may showcase one of them. I don't know. We'll see. So I was also running other tests as well, seeing if at what point does like the drop off occur. You know how, because you're able to set the difficulty levels or whatever. I think at beginner, you only get you get the small drop. I forget what it's called, Dragon Tear Drop or something like that. You get the small Dragon Tear Drop, but you only get one of them. So I test different difficulties, seeing, okay, at what point does it actually increase, right? Because obviously the enemies are not that hard, to be honest with you, but still, you know, for some players, it may be worth, okay, let me drop down to the smallest difficulty, the very next one, or the least difficult one here. Not beginner, but, you know, instead if I can't do master, let me do veteran to see what happens, you know what I mean? So things like that.
Everyone,
you know,
okay?
so
Easy
let's
peasy
see
demon
here.
squeezy.
Get this chest, the other one's over here. So I do tests like that, really, to see what works. It may work. Obviously, any team we use is going to work for beginner. There's just no clear issues there. But then as we start working our way up the difficulty, okay, what team comps work for which difficulty? Like, can this same team work for all difficulties and things of that nature, right? Because a team may work for, say, veteran, but then absolutely fail for master.
Let's
You know what I
go.
mean? So
Sir, yes, sir.
testing things like that, really, with new stories and whatnot. Similar to what I did for
Rah rah sis
the
boom
newest story, right? The latest chapters of the story, where we now have those monster nests, right? Just testing different teams at different difficulties to see, like, okay, could this same team work at the next difficulty? You know what I mean? So this may work for veteran, and it be absolutely trash for master, you know, and things like that. So kind of testing that I do, for anybody wondering. But I like the challenge, so I typically go through episodes, or with these new difficulties, I typically go through them at the master difficulty. You know what I mean? And then most of the time I hope that I can actually fight the boss again. You know what I mean? And oftentimes I can't. And so because of that, it's like, damn, all right, I wish I didn't do everything at master. To like, okay, this team worked at the master difficulty, so I know they're going to work at earlier difficulties. Can I build a different team comp, you know, to also work for the master? But yeah, it's kind of is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So get my drops here. You know what I mean? We're not really impacted by the whole shadow deal that he does. Let's come over here and let's just check my difficulty here, because I was gonna test a different team that used just Aldo and what's her face?
Time for adventure.
Let's see. Lance, light, female. Score by light. I don't even know why I just did that, because all of them are finished except for one. There she is. So typically I'm running tests like this here, and then changing the difficulty to see what works for which, you know, so I know this team would actually die. You know what I mean? Because mostly I'm curious to see just how overpowered some of these Stellar Awakened characters are, you know, so things like that. Let me actually go back over here to my Aldo team. There's the team there, and we're gonna simply, I think the difficulty is now set in stone. Let's see here. Cool. And where was I gonna go? Let me switch this and then go to all right. I gotta find out where to get the water. That's not where I wanted to go. so I can upgrade the weapon Aldo is using. Yeah, I need the Drake water, so this should work for this at least. I haven't used this weapon against those enemies. So we're gonna have to test them actually. I don't know what to expect, to be honest. That's it. Wow, she has nothing here. All right, let's give her a damage buff at least. You know what I mean? Kind of shocked she didn't even have anything. Power of deadly blow. There's power of pain. Okay, we'll take the ones from Tsukiya. Though it really isn't needed, if I'm being honest. Like I said, when it comes to some of these enemies, like an AF is just more than enough. Here, do we have any bullseye ore? No, we don't. Okay, let me do this and come back. I don't know what this is. Power of shade? That's interesting. Why would she be holding a power of shade? I don't really know why she's holding a power of shade. We'll grab that. And then we can give her something else here. I wonder if they stack. Probably, who knows? Anyway. And then, like I mentioned, it's just an AF, assuming I don't mistime anything. Which I probably will, if I'm being honest. Who knows? And let's see here.
Oh, ye dead. Bring forth your infernal darkness.
So as you can see here,
Awaken.
right? So I would just typically enter the fights, do an AF against them, pretty much, and then just do that for all four. You know what I mean? And it's more than enough to handle them. You know what I mean? So, and that's with Daybreak equipment here. All right. So she's not even doing as much damage as one would like her to do, you know? So works just fine. I would assume the damage dealers in this case are probably Suzette and Aldo, considering, you know, Stellar Awakened or whatever. I'd be curious to see what they do with this one here. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's pretty much how that works. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, so far this team works just fine, clearing the dungeons and whatever else. Most enemies here works just fine. I haven't tested it in the Astral Archives though. If anything, that's not what I'm supposed to do. There we go, tomes. Don't know how it would do here against this enemy. What's his pledge? Okay, yeah, I don't know how it actually would do in the very hard. I believe in the hard version was no problem, but I have no idea how this actually would work in this one here. It may live, for all we know. Let's see. Right? Same deal here. Ooh.
Awaken.
Missed it. In this case, I actually missed it. And so, wish I didn't miss that, because that would have been helpful. So that's pretty much what I mean. This is like pretty exact here. I wish I didn't miss that. Yeah, I really wish I didn't miss that, but I'm just curious to see what can happen if I did this outside of it.
Guide us to tomorrow.
Yep, definitely do wish I didn't miss that.
This is the end.
I'll destroy you.
No problems here either. So, anyway, we'll see how this does in, like I said, the challenge run, I guess. But there you have it. All right, so this is the team I've been using. Didn't really have any real issues, like I said, unless, of course, I missed that stellar. Nice. All right, let's see. What are the rewards? Nothing interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. But, yeah, so there you have it, though. Right, again, the team I had used for this entire ordeal here, pretty self-explanatory. This was my team. You know what I mean? And it worked just fine. Could you replace Melpiphia with anyone? Yeah, pretty much. Originally, I was running it like this here, and it worked just fine. When running the dungeons, of course. Now, if you're going up against, you know, these master difficulty enemies, then obviously adjust your team accordingly. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will talk to you all later.